require. So keep these three parameters in mind. Calendar is always fixed once the UPSC announced. It does not change. Neither the election helps it nor how many of you are now going to appear this time in prelim. There's lots of confusion between what states give and what UPSC demands. In that document, which UPSC publishes, they clearly define.
I would like to welcome Dr. D.P. Agarwal, sir.
Thank you. Very nice to see such a good crowd, smiling faces, young aspirants. How many of you are now going to appear this time in prelim? Civil service is a process, consists of three components. Each of them test your different kinds of capabilities. Each of them try to bring out of you your deep potential. Therefore, it is important for all of you to read very carefully what UPSC publish in Gazette every year. I'm sure most of you read the Gazette notification. Any of you read the Gazette notification? For civil service exam, UPSC publishes in month of January a Gazette notification, which is done every year. This year would come soon, for which you will apply for 24. But even the past one is available. I advise all of you to read it. It gives you everything which you want to know. Who can apply, who can appear, what kind of background you require, what kind of syllabus is needed, and how many marks per paper, how do they make the merit list. Everything is given, nothing is hidden. So one good part of the UPSC is that nothing is hidden. There's no agenda. It is a process to select meritorious, honest, and out-of-box thinkers to civil services. So keep these three parameters in mind, that you must be honest. And there are methods to easily find out while we talk to you how honest you are. Even simple questions can bring out. So this tendency to get your way anyway is not right. Because ultimately you have to meet a board, which my friends will meet. These are very 5 senior people, life experience. So if you try to dodge them, then they will find out that you are lying. And once you lie anywhere, there are problems. Prelim exam, normally 2 papers, generally in the month of May. Calendar is always fixed once the UPSC announced. It does not change. Neither the election helps it nor until it's a major calamity. Even pandemic time, you remember, dates were fixed. Arrangements were done to conduct this exam. Keeping UPSC's calendar, all other people do change their calendars. So on that account, you are sure that on that day, examination will be conducted. They ask you your information. You fill the form. Be careful while in filling the form. Because whatever you tell them once, change becomes almost impossible. So if you use your name in a particular fashion, as given in your mark sheets and certificates, similar names should always be used. You just can't say that I've used this name, I've used this birthday. No, it's not done. Whatever proofs you have, photographs you attach, don't change those photographs too often. Normally it's a 1-year cycle. So if you plan to appear for civil service, you'll fill form in January. So keep your photos which you take in January till almost to the next January. There can be problems because of health or something that can be explained, but normally, please don't change. Maybe this time you take a photograph with a beard and suddenly you come with another photograph. You use specs and you don't try to take a photograph with specs. Now that's always not right. Be consistent, be right, be correct. Change is not possible. Please understand. If you want to change later, it's a running pillar to post. Change is almost impossible. This applies for those who want to seek reservation. This applies to those who want to look at the weaker section, economically weaker section. So please read it very carefully. In that document, which UPSC publishes, they clearly define, if you want to claim to be reservation, what kind of certificates you have to give. There's lots of confusion between what states give and what UPSC demands. Because UPSC follows the central government regulation, and accordingly, whatever the data central government wants, that they must have. Therefore, it is written in their document if you want to submit a document in what manner. Okay? Minimum qualification is your age, which you know. You should be 21 at particular date. All those who are final year can apply, but bound by the date. Am I right? You can be graduate of any subject, but this degree nomenclature must be available in UGC website. There are private universities which gives all kinds of degrees. Sometimes they create confusion. Please do check your degree whether if it is a government university, government college, there is not a problem. Because they can only have degrees which are mentioned by the regulating bodies of the government of India. I'm only cautioning because later on you may be in difficulty. Then they'll ask you create an equivalence, get an AIU certificate, which is not easy. So why to get into this? UGC do publish every year, is available on their website, which degree nomenclatures are accepted. Give that, give the university name properly, full name. Whatever university name is, give full name. Normally when you fill UPSC form, have you ever tried to fill a UPSC form? How many of you? Nobody? Please do try. It's always good to try it and then you know what kind of challenges, data you require. So photograph, be careful, your date of birth, be careful, reservation qualities you want. Language is not a barrier. UPSC allows you to take exam in any of the language. UPSC allows you to take in personality test in any language. But they ask you this question. But if you say that you want to write in English and appear in Hindi, and suddenly you say, no, I want to appear in English, that would be a little difficult. Particularly those who want to be interviewed in the mother tongue, you have to declare in advance. And this is the time. In the detailed application form, which is now to be filled, they ask you which language you want to be interviewed or talked, discussed. So these are generally some precautions which you must be careful. So please do check that you fulfill all these requirements. They are very simple requirements. And it is always good to look at this Gazette notification. It is always good to try to fill that application, if it can be. Particularly the people who are in the business of supporting you, facilitating you, they would have a hard copy. You can take that and try to fill this by hand. It's only to know that in the last moment, you got all the documents, particularly those who are looking for reservations. If you have supplementaries, when supplementaries would be completed. There's a date given on which your degree must be fully available. No backlogs, no on that day. We are not saying that you should not have a backlog. You can have backlog, you can have supplementaries, but in a particular day when you declare, you must be pass. Correct? Any doubt so far? Please do this regularly. Read that Gazette. It reminds you the condition. Then you will not depend on people telling you. I think prelim exam consists of 2 papers, as you know, both objective types, negative marks. Obviously, if it's a negative marks, you will not like to guess. So caution is that please prepare thoroughly. When you know the answer rightly, only then you write. The chances to get negative marks, and negative marks hurts both ways. One, that if you got some positive marks and negative marks will cut out the positive marks. And if you attempted that question, if you said you attempted 15 questions, 3 are wrong, so 12 are left. And so 12 is, number one, 12 is correct. And these 3 marks which will come will eat into 12 more. So you are left with only 8 or 9 questions. So why to do this? Don't think that more question you attempt is the right strategy. It cannot be, because if they are wrong, which you also know they are wrong, then there's no point. So it's a big caution. Objective type is not simple. It's not like a university exam and other. They give you all kinds of possibilities. There are 4 options. They like to know, is the first one is the best one, the second one, the next one. So they might ask you the grade. They might even ask you to only choose 1. They might ask you to choose 2. They might ask you to choose 1, fill in the blank. They may ask any possibilities. And these possibilities are not simple. They cannot be answered by mugging questions. You understand? So please read thoroughly, carefully, assimilate what you read, and you should be able to understand if this question is a little twisted, will you from this knowledge be able to answer? Those who try to mug 100 questions, I'm so sorry. At no point of time in UPSC history, questions are repeated. They're never repeated. Have you seen? It's easy, you can also find out. Question papers are available. As I said, Commission does not hide anything. Commission also does not recommend any coaching to you. It's your choice. They also don't attach a value if you're not done for coaching. As an individual, you can prepare without coaching. With coaching is your choice. They are definitely concerned that if you take many years, they are concerned because you, as a young boy or girl, do you plan your career better? Normally, when you appear in university exam, you have a goal in mind that you want to do job, you want to do in work industry or a government job, or you want to start your own company. So if you take 6 years or 7 years, the rules permit. Firstly, 6 to 7 years or number of attempts. They've said 6 attempts for general category, maybe more attempts for OBC and for SC, ST up to age. The rules permit you. But you remember struggling for so many years requires so much of motivation to continue to work. Please understand. It's not the commission who's putting pressure. It is you or yourself are under pressure. If you are not selected first time, not selected second time, when you come to third and fourth time, the pressure is immense. So there's no hurry to appear in the first time. Whatever time you want to spend in the preparation. Suddenly people think that I must appear to take what call the experience. Experience is taken automatically because all questions are known, syllabus are known, you solve the question, you solve also multiple questions, and you are getting only 30 marks. Why do you appear? Will that happen? Never happens. It's a mistaken identity that while I'm practicing, I get only 30% mark, mean I'll get 70, it will not happen. It's a normal. It's not UPSC's mistake. It's a normal situation. In examination mode, you are more under pressure. Your performance slightly diminished than what it can be at home. So please do not take first attempt just like throw a hat, because each attempt is counted. In each attempt put you a major pressure. Suddenly parents will say, "Aap to appear हुए थे, नहीं pass हुए." Your friends will also be different now next year. Every year the competition changes. Sometimes even the rules may change. Though luckily in UPSC the rules have not changed too often. It changed in 75, it changed when I was chairman, yet it is continuing. So 14 years now continuing. So roughly time spent about 10 to 15 years, but it may change. But learning would not change. So learn thoroughly, learn from good books, learn by yourself. वहाँ आपको जो टीचर यहाँ पढ़ाते हैं या कोई भी यूनिवर्सिटी टीचर आपकी जगह एग्जाम नहीं देगा. तो लर्न आपको करना है. Okay? The third point, which is the third they are attempting, what is called personality test. Most of you are a mistaken identity that you only plan developing personality when you start preparing for civil service. Those are candidates who makes many mistakes. Personality is start building from the day you are born. You go to a school, you participate in number of activities in school, you meet your friends in your locality, you play in your locality, how your parents guides you, where they interact you, what kind of newspapers you read, which kind of magazines you read while you are growing. Unfortunately, 90% of you are not in habit of imbibing part into your personality. You tend to prepare everything based on exam, which is not done. For example, in my lifetime, I started reading newspaper as earlier than third standard boy. My father will only say, read the newspaper, whatever you understand, but have a practice. So nothing else happened at that time except that I start picking the words. You get words also already in your books, which everybody would have. What difference will it come when you do it differently? Which most of you don't do differently. You all read Hindu without knowing whether Hindu is right or wrong, but you read all. You don't read a vernacular newspaper because you don't want to work in your mother tongue. You don't know the importance of knowing your locality, your district, you tend to believe knowing what happening in Iraq or Uzbekistan. They'll happen. But what happened nearby you first understand, imbibe that in you. You live in a locality where there's a water shortage. So you have struggled with the water shortage. You are the best person to explain what are the difficulties with the water shortage. Others would only read it to find out. So please start living your life as an observant person, imbibe every component of it in your personality.